This is That Guy Jig Sports Podcast. I am him, JG. Subscribe, rate, and review. Amazon, Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts, check us out. And don't forget about the Instagram at That Guy Jig, Jigsaw Jimmy 17 on the YouTube. Week 9, the sun has set on you. It rose, it was high, it got hot, and then it set. It set. And week 9, of course, came with its highs and its lows. Of course, the Cowboys still suck. Dak Prescott is going to be going to the IR. This is news. This is what we know. Dennis Allen, the Saints head coach, has been fired. This is what we know. You know, it's funny. We've come so far from that hot start from the New Orleans Saints. It seems like just last week we were talking about how this offense is like 16 of 17 on their possessions. We get points. But here we are, folks. Things have changed. That's my point. Things have changed. Matthew Stafford got his weapons back. Matthew Stafford got his utility back. The Rams beat the Seahawks. Jordan Love is he's struggling. But at the same time, he's flourishing. It's a weird love-hate situation going on with what's going on in Green Bay. The Eagles are doing the Eagle thing. The Eagles are looking good, folks. The Eagles are looking good. They are truly looking good. And like I told you, the Ravens were going to beat the living shit out of the Broncos, and that's what they did. But that's all said and done. Week 10 is here. Before we get to Week 10, hit that subscribe button. And also, things went down yesterday in the trades. We got teams making moves to solidify their place amongst the playoff teams. And the Washington Commanders, I think, won yesterday. And I think the Baltimore Ravens came in second place with addressing their need for secondary help. And don't forget the Lions getting Zadarius Smith from the Browns. That's also a good trade. So those three trades right there are three playoff teams solidifying their spot. The Commanders are going to the playoffs. The Lions are damn sure going to the playoffs. And like I said, the Ravens, we know what their roster screams: championship or bust. So that's what's going on in Baltimore. That's what's going on in the NFL. But I like the most trade that I like the most out of those trades. I like the Baltimore trade addressing the secondary, especially in that division. In that division, you're looking at some good wide receivers. Each team has a formidable offense in that division. I like what the Ravens are doing. I truly do. I think the Ravens front office as a whole this year has figured out a way to get Lamar the help he needs, and they have understood that in order for them to truly be great and win a championship, they have to make sure that team has no flaws. It has no wrinkles. It's a perfectly pressed shirt. That's what they must make sure, and that's what they're trying to do over there in Baltimore. Shout out to Baltimore's front office. But if there's a fucking clown to point at today, if there is somebody we gotta talk to, the Dallas Cowboys did it again. They did it again. They stole the show. They came in here and they overpaid for Mingo from the Panthers, former Ole Miss wide receiver, has not lived up to expectations at all. Has not even come close to it. This is probably the worst trade. For a team that should be trying to do more, I understand that there's only so much you can do in the regular season. Yes, the Dallas Cowboys season is over, but I mean, how many key pieces are you willing to get rid of just to get a little better this year? Clearly, the goal is for the future. Clearly, the goal is we're trying to build something that's going to be massive here. So obviously, the Dallas Cowboys are going to be going all in this offseason. But, you say that, and then you look at the fact that they could have got their hands on Derrick Henry. I think if the Dallas Cowboys have a Derrick Henry on that roster, things are a little bit different. The fact that you can't run the football, that's everything. We're not just talking about Pop Warner. We're not talking about high school where you can just throw the damn ball all around. We're talking about the NFL. You have to be able to run the football. And the Dallas Cowboys have not been able to run the football. You bring Zeke back. He does. What are we doing? We bring in Dalvin Cook. What the fuck is going on? Suddenly, I feel like I'm in a time lapse. I'm in a time machine. It's 2012 or it's 2015. What the hell is going on? Why is Zeke Elliott and Dalvin Cook your two biggest acquisitions? We have a problem. But Week 10 is here, and it starts off with a banger with the Ravens and the Bengals. This game right here injected into my veins. Matter of fact, let's just do it like they did back in the day with the LSD and just drop that shit on my eyes. Direct line. Direct line. I'm here for it, coach. Bengals and Ravens. Ravens have one of the worst secondaries in the NFL. I just mentioned they got Tre'Davious White. I don't know if that's really going to help right now, but for the future, that will, especially when they get more healthy. Their secondary is banged up. Marlon Humphreys has missed some games. They got Mr. Crash Out dummy, Kyle Anderson. Oh my God, that's a basketball player. Kyle Hamilton, the safety back there, the crash dummy, the YN crash dummy. That guy right there, all he knows how to do is hit and hit hard. But this game right here is going to be high scoring. It has no choice. The Ravens eventually I can see the Ravens win this game because they have the better run game. I think eventually, as much as this is, the Bengals want this to be a track meet, the Ravens have the ability to slow this game down. They have the ability to run the ball. They have the ability to give the ball to Derrick Henry and just say, hey, take us to the victory line. And I think ultimately that's what's going to be in play. I do believe the Bengals will have a chance to win this game, especially when you consider the fact the Bengals need this game. This is a must-win for Cincinnati. This is no option. You must be focused and you must win this game, especially if you want to make a playoff push. The Bengals need this game. Desperation brings out the best of NFL players, and I can see the Bengals winning this game if they are able to make the Ravens one-dimensional. If they're able to take away Lamar, if you're able to take away his arm, they'll win. You cannot allow them to pass the ball and allow Derrick Henry to run crazy. If Derrick Henry runs for 180, you'll be all right. I'm saying that in the sense of there's no way the Ravens defense is going to be able to keep up with the Bengals offense if the Ravens are unable to put up points. You need a solid pass game to put up points against the Bengals. You're not going to be able to be one-dimensional against that Bengals defense and win. If they're able to take away his arm, which I think is probably the easiest of the two to take away, force them to hand the ball off to Derrick Henry. Don't allow the playmaker Lamar to beat you. Because when you allow his arm to beat you, you are ultimately allowing the playmaker Lamar to beat you. Because now Lamar has time in the pocket. Now Lamar has time to decide if I want to run for 20 or if I want to throw for 20. If you're giving him them options, you're fucked. I think the Bengals defense is good enough to take away one of those options, and the Bengals offense is good enough to put stress on the Ravens offense. That's what makes this game a difficult game for the Ravens, is that the Bengals offense, especially if they get T. Higgins back. If T. Higgins is able to go tomorrow and they're somewhat full strength, they just got in Khalil Herbert. We know Zach Moss is going to be out for the season with a neck injury, but we also kind of knew Zach Moss was on his way out because he was old and he was fumbling. You can't be both in the NFL. You can be old, but you can't fumble. That's just how that works. It's the NFL. So I think if those things go for the Bengals, in the sense of they're able to score points, and they're also able to take away either the run or the pass. If you're able to do one or the other and make the Ravens one-dimensional, the Bengals will win this game. Giants and for fantasy football aspect, everybody plays. Everybody plays. Look for a bigger role for Deontay Johnson versus the Bengals. He's been in this offense for a little bit longer. He should be more acclimated to the offense. So look for that. Derrick Henry is going to keep scoring touchdowns. fantasy football, we're speaking fantasy football. Play him. There's no reason why you don't play anybody in this game. Everybody's going to be an option. They have the over-unders at 52.5, so they are expecting some points. And if they're expecting points, to get points, you need stats. So, there you go. Sunday morning football, Giants and Panthers. This is a straight shit bowl. Everybody thus far this season has gotten right against the Panthers. Everyone. Everyone, I mean, except for the Saints last week, of course. But every one of them, other than those two, you get right against the Panthers. I don't know, but maybe Daniel Jones has a good day on Sunday. Maybe Wan'Dale Robinson, Malik Neighbors gets back going. Maybe the Giants are able to do something. But ultimately, if we're talking about money and betting wise, give me the Panthers. If you need an upset for this week, the Panthers over the Giants. It's in Munich. The Giants are all type of discombobulated offensively. I think Bryce Young sitting down made him a little bit better. I think the Panthers are just a little bit better overall. They have more talent. This is going to be a good game ultimately, but for fantasy football, it's not going to be good for us. If you have the good guys, if you have Xavier Legette, if you have Chuba, he's going to have a tough game against this Giants run game. But also, the Panthers should be able to force a couple turnovers from Daniel Jones. So Chuba is still going to be in play. Wan'Dale, Malik Neighbors still in play. The running backs are still in play. Everybody's in play, but you just can't go too deep. Just don't go too deep. If you need a quick defense, there's not going to be too many points scored in this game. A defense will be good. Patriots and Bears, this is one of those games where if the Bears lose, you're looking at this shit like, wow. Is it the coach at this point? I wouldn't be surprised if he gets fired, which once again makes the Bears having 2 coaches, 2 coordinators in 2 years. This is just what they do. Watch out. That game is a shit bowl. I like all the Bears players though. I do. If the weather's good, I like DJ Moore. I like DeAndre Swift, Rome Odunze, Keenan Allen. It is time for a Cole Kmet showing. It is time for him to pop up for that random 1 out of 3 games. Look for the Patriots to have a solid game. Drake May has a little swagger to him. He has a swagger. He has a winning swagger in the NFL. So, I like that one. I like Drake May in a pinch. If you just absolutely need a quarterback, because you know the guy's going to sling it. Bills and Colts, this is low-key going to be a good game because Anthony Richardson is not playing. And by a good game, I'm saying if you have players for fantasy football, I know the Colts laid the egg as far as receivers last week. Michael Pittman Jr. is having one of the worst fantasy football seasons I've seen from a receiver that was drafted so high. I don't know if I'll ever have him on my team at this high of a position. At this cost, I don't know if I'm willing to pay for Michael Pittman in the future. They're going to have to get a new quarterback or he's going to have to go to a different system because this shit ain't working. Josh Downs is working for him. Jonathan Taylor is working for him. Joe Flacco's got to have a better game. I think he home game he should have a little bit of a better game. I hope. It's against the Bills. Their defense is solid, not great, but it is solid, and they are going to get after it. For the Bills, you're playing everybody. The Colts' defense is just terrible. Everybody's in play. Khalil Shakir has been balling. Amari Cooper. We're looking at James Cook. We're looking at watch out for Mac Hollins' ass, man. He's been popping up every now and again, but he can look for a more consistent role. Keon Coleman, he's looking like everything he's supposed to be. Dalton Kincaid. Like I said, the Bills' offense, they're all right. The Bills' offense in this game, if you got the players, you're feeling good. You're feeling really good going against the Colts. Chiefs and the Broncos, man, would not be surprised if Denver beat them if this was at home. This is an Arrowhead. Look for the Chiefs to get off. The same players, Hopkins, Hunt, Kels. These guys have actually put together a formidable offense. Is looking pretty good in Kansas City. Denver's players, the same. Javonte, it's kind of hard. It's hard with these running backs in Denver. You just don't know who's taking the lead role on what game. But you still got to roll with what you got. I don't like Cortland Sutton in this game. I do not like him. Steve Spagnuolo is going to get after Bo Nix and make it a very difficult day for that young man. Look for a lot of run game from the Denver Broncos to try to keep this game close. Falcons and Saints. The Falcons should beat the living hell out of the Saints. The Saints just traded Marshawn Lattimore. Falcons wide receivers are a lot wide open. I don't know if Drake May is going to go. If he does go, he should be not getting number 1 coverage. He should be able to get open. I like the Saints as far as Kamara, you know what I mean? But I really wished that he got traded. I hoped that someone would swoop in and take Alvin Kamara away from this bad dream of the New Orleans Saints, but he must live out this nightmare. But you can still play him. He should still be good for his usual 10, 15 points. Depending on Derek Carr's bullshit, he should be a little more calm in the pocket. Look out for Mason Tipton. Cedric Wilson Jr., if he is not injured, he should be available and should be able to play and should be able to get you some good burn. 49ers and Buccaneers, they may get Christian McCaffrey. I'm not betting on it. I'm not holding my breath. I hope he comes back. It would save a lot of seasons. A lot of people are depending on this guy. 49ers are 4-4, folks. They are not out of the playoff position. They have something to play for. The Buccaneers, they almost beat Kansas City. Maybe they get Mike Evans back. I probably doubt it. I think he misses at least one more game. So look for the Buccaneers. So you keep using that running back by committee and just getting the ball around. Cade Otton has been probably the most beneficial since the wide receivers have been out. If you can get your hands on them, go ahead. I know in deeper leagues it's pretty much impossible, but if you can, go ahead. Steelers and Commanders might be a low-key, high-scoring game when you look at how bad the Commanders' secondary is. I know they just got Marshawn Lattimore. I don't know if he's playing Sunday, but if he is, that is going to help a lot for sure because he is going to be able to take away the number one. You don't have to worry about that side of the ball. But if he isn't, look for the Steelers to be able to take advantage of this secondary in Washington. Just look for it. The Steelers have the weapons. Look for Najee and these guys to stay hot. This is a good game. 7-2 and 6-2. This is everything you want. You got an old coach, old quarterback going against the new coach and the young quarterback. This is a good game. It's going to be a good game on paper. It's going to be a good game on field. I like the Steelers in this game. I like Tomlin this year. I like the swagger that he's carrying. And I'm just going to bet with Tomlin all year. Vikings and Jaguars listen, in the beginning of the season, I would say, yeah, this has the making of a good game. But this is probably going to be a blowout in the Vikings' favor. It's down in Jacksonville, so look for the Vikings to be able to spread the ball around. Justin Jefferson to touch the paint a couple times. Aaron Jones to get in there. This is going to be one of those get-right games. Look for the Vikings to have a get-right game. If you have the Vikings defense, you might even play them. Trevor Lawrence has been absolutely terrible this year. I mean, he has been absolutely terrible. There's been a couple guys this year that when you look at it, it's like, dude, what did you do in the offseason? And Trevor Lawrence is one of those people. Titans and Chargers, if you can get your hands on the Chargers defense, play them. Titans have also been absolutely terrible. Absolutely terrible. This whole experiment that they put together has been a failure. They will be blowing it up and probably restarting. Probably at the start of next season, things will look very different than how it ended or started this season. Eagles and Cowboys. This was supposed to be a good old, rivalry. In the beginning of the season, this was supposed to be the division, but now we see the Eagles are something the Cowboys will never be right now, and that's championship contenders. Eagles coming in 6-2, Cowboys coming in 3-5 with Dak not playing. Cooper Rush is in. Cooper Rush is 5-1, so maybe he can get it done. I don't know. This is interesting. It's a home game for the Cowboys. You just feel bad for the guys. You just feel bad for CD and the boys. But look for the Eagles to get right. Look for the Nick Sirianni to be cussing out the fans in Dallas. Look for the Eagles to get right in this game. Jets and Cardinals, this game right here, look for the Jets. The Jets got a little swagger to them, I think. I think they're starting to figure it out. I think there's some continuity. And I think the Cardinals are just bad. I think Kyler Murray will be in a different jersey next year. And I think the Jets are about to start making a little playoff push. Look for the Jets to make a little playoff push starting last Thursday. It started last Thursday, and watch the push begin. Lions and Texans. Once again, one of those games that was supposed to be great, but with the injuries to the Texans, this should be a blowout for the Lions. But C.J. Stroud is due for an explosive game. Lions secondary is not that good. It's not that good. If they can get some help, if Nico can come back, the Texans will be able to make some plays in that secondary so they have fantasy value. C.J. Stroud is due for a breakout game. He's had a sophomore slump, which is understandable. This is what happens in the NFL. These defenses key in on you. These defensive coordinators look and film overnight all season long because that is their job. Their job is to figure out how to beat you. And then Monday, we got Dolphins and Rams. The Rams will win this game. Stafford has his weapons back. Everybody for the Rams is in play. I like what's going on. Week 10, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Hit the subscribe button. Follow me on the YouTube and follow me on the Instagram. Rapid pace, quick fire. I'm going Bengals. I'm going Panthers. I'm going Bears. I'm going Bills. Chiefs. Falcons. 49ers. I'm going Steelers. I'm going Vikings. Excuse me. Vikings, Chargers, Eagles, Jets, Lions, Rams. That's what we're going with. That's the rapid fire with the sneezes on top. I'm allergic to the bullshit. So that's what we're doing. All right, make sure you hit that subscribe button and tell a friend to tell a friend so that way we can all be friends. We can get on this ship that never sinks. It's called a friendship. Once again, subscribe, rate, and review. I am That Guy Jig, and this is That Guy Jig Sports Podcast. Thanks for listening. Peace.